welcome in.
Caught you off guard.
That was different. We're here. Bears lose again, 7 straight. They fall 25-20 to the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe one of us had the Bears covering.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
About all we can take out of this one.
It's a moral victory.
Moral victory.
Will you say hello to DraftKings, and then I want to apologize to someone?
Hi, DraftKings. We love you. You are beloved sponsors. Use that code CHGO when you sign up. You get up to $150 in free bets, which you could have used in this game. A couple of our prop bets hit. We'll discuss some of that. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Corey Wootton, Greg Braggs. How is Bears Twitter right now? You've been on it for like an last hour, I feel like.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Okay.
Most amazing part of this game for everybody out there is that the three of us were having there was 4 of us in the room, and we were all having a conversation. and Braggs was in the room, but heard apparently nothing for like an hour.
He's just going through Twitter like this, Twitter fingers.
It was impressive.
Why the nerdy voice? No, you did the nerdy white boy voice.
he was drinking his brick juice like this.
Rise and shine.
I got the brick
Twitter.
juice.
What? Twitter? This ain't brick by brick.
Hey, so just to the Jack Sanborn and Sand Gods and family. First day I wear the jersey. Dude goes out there, gets injured. I don't know what to do going forward. Like,
It's really your fault.
Can I ever wear it again? I
can't believe you're wearing it right now.
I was thinking about taking it off. Should I take it off?
At the break or whatever, just take it off.
I mean, there is no break. If you guys, if the chat says that, overwhelmingly that I should take it off, I'll take it off. That just sucks. Dude he was on his way to hitting the over on the 9.5.
You did. At halftime, you gave a very strong proclamation that the over 9.5 tackles was a lock.
Yeah,
and then he got hurt.
And then the dude gets hurt.
How about before that, though? We talked about that play where he ran down Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had 3 steps on him.
Yeah.
They're running, runs him down, sweeps his leg like Rex Kwando from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Sweep the leg. Yeah.
Well, but what was most impressive was he had to go around all the bodies at the line of scrimmage. Like, he had to go around them, and then he chased them down. It's not like he could have taken a direct angle.
He is that dude. Like hands down. I don't care what people think. He's going to be a starter for the Bears for years to come. I think it's probably a high ankle sprain, and I think depending on how he is, sit him for the rest of the year unless he's healthy. Yeah, right. Unless he gets healthy, but I think we found our Mike linebacker of the future.
I mean, if you that was a nightmare. Sanborn, Teven Jenkins, and Fields leaves the field. I get it; it was cramps, but that was a nightmare right there. Jalen Johnson would look like he was holding his shoulder.
Away.
I mean,
here, I got your list for you right here.
Oh my God!
Equanimeous St. Brown goes out with a concussion after making that big third down catch. Teven Jenkins, the neck injury, that just really did not look good. Especially with his history of already having back and hip issues. Got to pray on that one because
I'm hoping it's a bad stinger. Sometimes that feels a little different than something you're used to. So I'm just praying that's like a bad stinger, and then he recovers from that.
For a guy that, I mean, legitimately is in the Pro Bowl conversation and one of the big bright spots of the season, to go down with that neck injury, that's very concerning. Jack Sanborn with the ankle, not as concerning long term, but still not great for really the guy who's turned out to be your best defensive player here. Matt Adams went out at one point. I forget what that injury was.
He was back in there laying on the pile at the end of the game.
And then Fields, I think that was just cramps. But then Jalen Johnson, he goes out with a ribs injury.
He had a great game too.
He was great, but like that's concerning here in the final few games for this reason. Because he's talked about openly embracing this opportunity he has late in the season to go against A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs. I guess you would go, Jamison Williams against the Lions, and then Justin Jefferson the last week. And today went well for him. I mean, he had a really good game, and then he goes out with the ribs. You saw on third down there right at the end, they target A.J. Brown, which maybe they would have done anyway with Jalen Johnson in the game, but against Jalen Jones, pretty much a walk. Let's go ahead and award our DraftKings King of the Game right now, because it is that man, Jalen Johnson. He did give up the big pass there towards the end. The way I look at these matchups, though, when you're a corner, especially with the way the rules are, you're going to give up one big play at least, right? He did a good job for the majority of this game against A.J. Brown, multiple PBUs. That's why he's your king of the game.
I love how he played physical and some savvy vet moves for a younger guy, right? A little hip check, slow down the offensive guy. Love what he did out there. He's playing that savvy vet role. It kind of reminded me of Peanut Tillman a little bit, how he was playing. The physicality with it, I really like what I saw from him.
I do not want to hear, oh, well, Jalen doesn't take the ball away, so I'm not sure if he's a long-term fit for this team because Flus and company are all about the turnovers. Jalen Johnson is a very good cornerback. He is he's in his prime. Let's not get confused on wanting that guy on this football team. He absolutely should be here. I don't think that's like even the least bit of a mystery. But it also feels like they're like, well, what are they going to do?
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
You would have said the same thing about Roquan Smith a year ago at this time, and it's all about.
I get it.
It's all about what they value. Now, the one big difference is corner is a premium position, and inside linebacker is not. So do you budge a little bit on your takeaway desires, especially with as long as the rest of the defense is taking the ball away, then you can live with it, right? Because they're not always going to target your top corner. There's going to be fewer opportunities. And in this game, you did create the takeaways. And shout out also to Kyler Gordon in this game, Jaquan Brisker. Like, if you're looking at positives in this game long-term in the development area, it's looking pretty good with Jalen Johnson, Jaquan Brisker, and Kyler Gordon. I liked how all three of those guys played in this game. I think, honestly, I still liked how Jalen Jones played for most of the game, too.
Their depth at corner, Josh Blackwell showed out last week, depth in the secondary period, that's not a place that I'm worried about at all.
And the fact that they're developing while the lack of pass rush.
That's even more impressive.
That's what makes it more impressive. So, Jalen Johnson may not have the turnovers this year, but, hey, God forbid they get a few pass rushers that makes that quarterback's clock tick a little faster. All of a sudden he gets the ball out, throws something reckless. You get some turnovers that way.
Look at the times where Jalen Hurts threw it away, right? It wasn't the pressure that we'd like to see, but it was a little more late pressure, and still he had some errant throws. So imagine when we revamp this defensive line, what this defense can really become, especially with the talented secondary. And how about Gordon, right? Early on, we were so critical of him, right, about the way he played, kind of lacked confidence. He really struggled out there, and he's starting to get more comfortable out there. So him and Brisker, Jalen Johnson, like you said, it's a lot of young guys. That's what you like to have, a lot of young guys that are playing well in a season, right, that's all about their development at this point. So it's been good to see.
Now, they did lose the game. We do have to play blame game as a result. I'll start it off. This is really more of a, at this point in the season, I don't know if we're really blaming people for losing, but it's more so like the things that didn't go well. I did say on the pregame, we talked a lot about Velus Jones, and I said there will be a moment in this game where he'll get his opportunity. Will he take advantage of it? At this point, I honestly, genuinely just feel bad for the guy.
Ditto. I like
it's
Velus.
Awful. You want to root for him. He's trying. He went through a slump. They're trying to work him back in. He gets the end around, and he fumbles the ball. And it's like, oh, man, that can't be what just happened again. The ball security with this guy has just been brutal. And unfortunately, it's just not looking like a good draft pick.
Third rounder. I was critical about the pick because I thought we had some offensive linemen that were available at the time, and he was basically an unproven guy that was a playmaker in college, 25 years old. Didn't really have that much experience playing wide receiver. So it was kind of like that boom or bust prospect. So I didn't really like the pick, but now it's seeming like it's not really working out. I mean, I know there's still more games to come, and we'll see what they do next year because things can change. But right now it doesn't look good.
Hopefully there will be a lesson for Ryan Poles in the trying to be a genius is a very tough thing to pull off. And that was an overdraft. People were scratching their head. It didn't make sense at the time. You're going to look enormously right about it. Velus, being around him some this year, he's very likable. I think we've all been rooting for him, and it just what can you do with him at this point? Yeah. There's a 1% chance in my head that he was drafted for the tank. We need we need someone to come in here and blow us games when we get close. And he did it in the Giants game.
Could have been a 7th-round pick. Why did it have to be the 3rd round?
Did it in the Washington game.
Yeah, I mean, he has very much helped the tank. So he could, depending on how this tank works out down the line, he could be MVP.
If I'm him, I'm working on the jugs. I'm working on my hands, my ball security. I'm calling Tiki Barber high and tight. You remember he had those problems fumbling?
Yeah.
I'm doing everything I can because this could be an opportunity. They're going to give him a chance next year for sure.
Well,
right?
well, along those lines, do you think so? Then is it fixable in your mind? Can it be?
I think ball security. Like look at Devontae Adams, right? His first couple years, he couldn't catch the ball. Aaron Rodgers talked about, I'm not saying he's Devontae Adams by any means, but he flashes things. He has speed. He has some size in there. Maybe if he gets on the jugs, maybe if he works on some things, I don't know.
But, man, I don't know,
how many
guys.
times did they actually – I mean, you say jugs, but he's fumbling the ball when he's carrying it. I mean, I know he had the one drop on the deep ball.
Is he open at all? Like
I didn't see one – like how many throws did they actually throw to him in a route pattern?
I just if you can't get opportunities downfield in the passing game with Claypool out, with Mooney out, with N'Keal Harry out, it's like when is that gonna come? I don't know.
I mean, I think they give him a chance how he does in preseason, obviously, and then they'll make a decision on him. But a lot can change, right? Like a lot of people don't start out the way that they finish or whatnot. So he's got a lot he's got to work on, and who knows? He could come to preseason and off-season a completely different person.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have to make any decisions on him now. You give him the off-season. He's got an opportunity. I'm sure they'll do everything they can to hype him back up in OTAs and come back in training camp. But I will say this. He could still fall under the category of second-year guys who don't make the team once you get to final cuts. Yeah. If preseason, if training camp doesn't go well.
He is – if I was betting will he be on the Bears next year, I would bet no. Not saying training camp, sure, but like making the team next year.
Making the team week 1 of next year. Who else you guys got in blame game?
I'm going to go with the coaching staff. Look, end of the first half, your offense is not moving the ball. Justin Fields does not need to get cracked a bunch of times right before halftime. That made no sense to me. Take the knee, go in, you're down 4. We're playing for next year. We know this, and you're also, even if you're playing for now, you're not scoring there. You're just putting yourself in harm's way. And then, you're down 17-12. You go for 2. You're down 5. This is not rocket science. Go for 2. 17-14. Let's go. And we could probably throw Cairo in there a little bit of blame game too. I don't know what's going on over there.
Right. So yeah, that's where my blame game's going. I would give it to Lawrence because every time he puts me on this single camera with Corey, we're like twins here, but he looks way more flexed out than I do in this sweater.
The biceps are a little different. You know what I mean? I'm rolling on 22s, and I'm not talking about rims,
drink
guys.
some more
all right?
juice.
Look at the way,
get that brick juice.
Look at the way that sweatshirt's folded out by Wootton.
I know.
What size is yours, by the way?
Quit putting this camera on me. Turn it off.
Wait, can I ask you what size is your sweatshirt?
It's a 2X. What is you?
I'm a 3X, big dog. Come on, man. That's how we do it.
He's 3X and it looks slimmer.
Right. Enough with that camera angle. Now, my blame game goes to Cairo Santos because, not only did he miss another extra point, I think that's 5 on the year. That's like kind of just a weird happenstance. I know a couple of them were in a monsoon and in bad weather elements, but still no excuse, especially today. But to pass on a field goal, at one point they're lining up for a 48-yard field goal, and they
punted
show
from
on
the 31,
and it comes out that Cairo's sitting there telling them, "No, I don't want it." Right after he missed the extra point. I mean, that's 3 points right there that changes the whole complexion of the game. I don't know what's going on with Cairo. And Adam, I know you made the statement like, "Don't get over your skis, don't run him out of town like we did Robbie Gould," because he is a good kicker, and I want to believe that. But now as every week goes with these different things, it makes me worried because other teams find kickers fairly easy that are good. And Cairo has been good. Now all of a sudden he is not good. So if this continues to end the year, I don't really know what they're going to do with him here in the offseason.
You think it's a confidence issue?
We'll see.
It seems like
when he says no, I don't want it from 48.
Yeah, it might be a confidence issue.
Throwing the grass in the air. I mean, what is that?
Special teams coach Adam Hoge made I thought significant observation that he's been kicking from the right hash, but they moved him into the middle, and right down the middle it went. So I don't know.
I noticed that in the last game too. He's kicking from the right hash and missing left, and it's almost like because if you're going to kick from the right hash, you're kind of playing a little bit of a draw, right? So because you're gonna, I mean, the hashes at the NFL are like kind of right at the post, and you're trying to get it so it's going too far left. So whether it's you're playing the wind, and look, when they showed that shot on Fox, good job by Fox, probably the only good shot they had the whole game. The replays today were driving me crazy. I feel bad for everybody else in our studio here because I was like losing my mind over the
Every
stuff.
time there was an injured player,
they're
like
show him.
going an
Like,
ad with Terry Bradshaw and a couple dogs in front. He's like, show the injured player.
Who's hurt? What is wrong? Like they wouldn't even zoom in on Teven as he's getting carted off. Wooten thought he's had like a cast on his leg, but I'm like, I can't tell. You're not showing him.
Can we get a replay on what happened? Like you need to see that like 10 times. Is this an NFL? Is this an NFL directive
I don't
rule?
know what was happening again. But to their credit, they did come back from the break to show that Cairo Santos like threw a piece of grass in the air, and granted, the grass went like.
Okay.
The fucking grass flew like 5 yards that way. Yeah. Like, okay, there's wind. We get it. But then he goes like this. He looks at the coaching staff. He's like, nah, I ain't kicking it. And so, look, I don't think that you maybe always check with your kicker on, you're feeling good from this range or not. But when it is borderline, you will check in. And it's one of those things where if they say yes, you still got to put your coaching hat on and be like, all right, are they really good? Yeah. If they say no, it's a hard no. Right. Like if you got a borderline field goal and the kicker says no, then
no confidence.
Then you're either going for it on fourth down or you're punting. And in that situation, it was 4th and 20 something, 4th and 27. So you had to punt it.
Exactly.
There also was the play calling around that was bizarre too, and it's blame game, by the way. Somebody's got to throw Alex Leatherwood in there. Swing and
I don't think he ever came back in either.
No, I think now right tackle, that's not an option. Now we got to see maybe left guard, right guard, see what he can do inside. Because we obviously took all the money that came from the Raiders contract, so we got to see what he can do out there.
Yep.
And another blame game, I got to go on Luke Getsy. 3rd and 1, and we're passing the ball in that situation. Play it a 2-down territory, right? You run the ball, and then if you're 4th and inch, you sneak it for the first down.
Right, what the hell was a flea flicker at the end?
Yeah, when you know the defense
scores, they're playing prevent. You win a flea flicker?
Just saying, keep everything in front of him. I didn't get that. So in situations, it's like he does the opposite of what you should really do, right? Sometimes his play calling is brilliant, but sometimes it gets tight. I don't know if he gets nervous or overthinks things.
It was like the ghost of Nagy's past came into the stadium. The Christmas reference.
The 3rd and 1 in the second.
Trying to be funny.
I know.
The 3rd and 1 in the second quarter, it was right after Montgomery picked up a first down on 3rd and 1. He picked up like 8 yards. Then he runs Fields, who wisely goes out of bounds and doesn't take another hit. Then Fields throws on 4th down. It was a bad throw. It was the first incompletion of the day
and
behind.
How many designed?
You're going to get in your own way, man.
How many designed runs? I'm uncomfortable with it. I mean, how many hits did Justin Fields take today? I'm uncomfortable with it.
If you guys had to rank, like, the coaches, which I guess we're talking mainly Flus, Getsy, Allen Williams. I mean,
it's hard.
In your confidence level, not necessarily like performance so far, but just in your confidence level going forward, how would you do it?
I would say Getsy number 1.
I
agree.
I think he just needs to improve on that 30 and in, right? In situational football, that's when he gets a little too cute and maybe gets a little uncomfortable in certain situations. But trust your gut. What got you to that point? It seems like things will work. We have a couple passes straight, and then all of a sudden we kind of get away from that. So I think he tries to get a little too cute. But this is his first time as a play caller, so that'll come. And then I probably say Allen Williams, because what he's been able to do, especially the last couple of weeks with like no pass rush,
right?
He's had that secondary playing pretty well. He did a pretty good job trying to design some blitzes to get the ball out quick. And then Eberflus, I think, has got to be last because some of his situational calls, and I talked about it, he needs somebody in his ear in situations like the going for 2. Somebody to be on the headset like, no, we have to go for 2 right here.
You don't even need it's usually you're on your card that you have in front of you, man. And it's just simple math. He says you're either up this many points or you're behind this many points. This is what you do.
But somebody's got to tell him, though.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be in his ear like, no. We're not going for 1, we're going for 2.
That was baffling.
Yeah.
And to Sarah's point in the chat, and somebody tweeted at me, too, they're like, fire Alan Williams. And it's just so funny to me.
Fire Alan
How
Williams.
do you – I know, it's stupid, but just my overall point with it all when it comes to Getsy, Eberflus, and Alan Williams across the board, how do you pick and choose – what to give them credit for and what to blame them for when there's such a severe lack of talent on both sides of the ball, and you have a team that's toe-to-toe with the best team in football, holding Jalen Hurts. He didn't have he had his worst day of the year. I think they had 3+ turnovers. They're competing in every game, every week. Yes, they fall short, but they have a talent gap. And it's the same thing on offense with Getsy. Yes, some play calls. I mean, they get credit for developing. They get credit as a coaching staff for keeping this team in ball games every week against teams they have no business being in games with. I understand it's not perfect because they have only got 3 wins, but I just don't understand how people can be like, okay, we're going to give credit to the players for this one, and we're going to blame the coaches for that one. The coaches, Luke Getsy gets credit for Justin Fields becoming a superstar. Justin obviously gets more of the credit because he did that on a lot of stuff is because of his personal greatness, but Getsy gets credit for that too. So I have a hard time picking and choosing what I'm going to blame and give credit to the coaching staff for. And I think they deserve a year going into next year with more talent on both sides of the ball before we can really give a stern critical eye to the little intricacies of being a great coach.
If I might say, though, the defensive line, they have
nothing.
8.5 sacks this whole year as a defensive line, right? Reddick, that played in the other team, he's got 12.5 sacks by himself. Right? So there's clearly a lack of talent. I understand that Justin Fields doesn't have the weapons, but offensively, they're able to do a lot more with the weapons that they have than defensively. Like, literally, the secondary has been carrying this defense, the way they've been playing on the back half.
Yep.
So that's why, like, if we could actually have 1 or 2 potential pass rushers, imagine how much greater this defense could be. So that's why I think Getsy in those situations has got to be better about his play call. 3rd and 1, you should just think 2 down territory. I got 2 plays to get a yard. That's it.
Right. Hey, we appreciate everybody hitting the like button out there. If you haven't done that, knock it in, and thank you for the record. Or
if you hit the like button,
Adam's going to yell at you if you don't.
I never yell.
That's
Only
true.
If you hit the like button, the Bears will get a generational talent in the draft.
There you go. That's better. Hit the like button, generational talent in the draft. Look, the D played well today, and is when that question ranking the coaches, and I'm not like I think they're all fine. But if I had to pick like who I am most confident that will be solid with talent around, I would take Alan Williams. He just to me comes across as the most solid of the bunch. I know. I like Alan.
Bitter beer face.
I'll put Getsy second. Alan Williams. Every time that dude talks, he's the most grounded dude ever. And like
you base everything off their quotes.
Well, but who do they have?
Big quote
Do you
guy.
watch these? I mean, look at the talent on the defense is in the secondary. How well is the secondary play? Pretty damn well. Has he made the most of Jack Sanborn when they figured that out? Yeah, he has. What else do you want that dude to do?
I think the consensus is Eberflus is
3.
last.
That
Yes.
shocks
Right?
me. That's what I was just about to say. How does he not get credit for all this stuff you're talking about?
Who?
With
Eberflus?
Yeah, with Sanborn and
The Flus's job.
see what happens when you get a coach that's the CEO instead of like Nagy was hands-on one side, so you knew to blame him for the offense. Now we have the CEO head coach, so he's getting like the blame for,
because his
he's not getting the credit now for
Flus,
the defensive development.
The Flus needs to manage the game, and most weeks we're sitting there scratching our head at different points in time where
It's
the
fair.
Flus is not.
I don't even know though that it's been that bad.
It hasn't.
We I can't think of a bad challenge all season.
We would not be talking about any of the situational plays if the Bears were getting blown out every week like they should with this roster.
But here's where I'm
So he should get credit for the fact that we're in these games. Instead, he's getting more blame because he's keeping them in games, and then we're losing because of the talent deficiency.
Yeah, see, I just think we don't know. on Flus and Allen Williams yet.
I agree.
And
the book hasn't been written.
I think that we just, one way or the other, nothing has flashed. I think things like not going for 2 and what seemed like a very obvious situation to do so today makes me a little worried for next year when you're supposedly going to like have more chances to win football games, and we probably will find out more about Flus as a head coach in those moments. I just think it's like a sort of an incomplete grade. The reason why I put Getsy number 1 is because
30 points a game, 6 weeks in a row.
First of all, okay, simple question. Has this season been a win for Justin Fields?
Yes.
100%.
Okay, so then it's got to be a win for Luke Getsy.
It is.
And because he's the one developing them with Janocko, the QB coach. And, oh, by the way, today's maybe the best example of the whole season. Like, the dude did it all by himself. Maybe a little bit of assist from David Montgomery. Otherwise, no wide receivers out there. No one ever open except for, like, busted coverage at the end with Byron Pringle.
No
because of his scrambles.
No argument.
Yeah, because of his scrambles.
Yeah.
Offensive lines getting them killed today again. I just, to me, it's easy that Getsy's number 1.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna I'm not dying on to argue Getsy versus Williams. Like
it's
fine. It's fine. We could say Getsy, but I do think there have been more moments this year where I've been scratching my head at Luke Getsy and wondering what exactly is going on there. Which I haven't. And partly Williams doesn't have that because of the talent on the defense. So maybe he's getting a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt from me, which is why I'm putting him there. But there have been a bunch of times it's like, why are you calling a quarterback sneak with a quarterback that's got an injured shoulder? We've had a bunch of weird moments, and also like just trying to sort of like what we were talking about earlier, 3rd and 1, and all of a sudden we're running fields and we're throwing the ball.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give him a little bit of a pass because his first year as a play caller in the NFL. But I honestly think like if we can get some weapons, we get this offensive line figured out. Like I said, if we have a defense that can stop people, like Justin Fields, watch out for him. Like I honestly think, like look what he's doing now with little,
right?
Like look what he's doing. Even though the stats don't woo and wow you sometimes about pass yards, he makes a difference and everybody notices. Right from the beginning of the season, they said this guy can't play. They're gonna have to draft somebody, and now everybody's like, oh, Justin Fields, man, look what he's doing with no wide receivers and all this. So I think people know what he can do. I mean, but it's going to be scary when we actually have everything, if we could potentially be in a year or two like the Eagles are, right, with a great offensive line, great defensive line that can pressure you, and some weapons at receiver with Justin Fields, man, he could be in the MVP conversation.
100%.
And it's critical to see what Ryan Poles is going to do. He put the Bears defensively in this situation to get picks. He traded away, Robert Quinn and Smith and Mack, right, for this purpose, for this offseason, to get a bunch of money and get a bunch of draft picks. So obviously we got to see what he's going to do, right? And then I feel like after next year we can fully evaluate him as a GM, right, to see what he puts in, how the team does.
Yep.
And so
they have free agency money that like they're first in free agency money going into the offseason, and the second most team is way behind.
We have a lot of holes to fill though.
$50 million behind. Like the Bears are at 125 for, $125 million, and the second most is like at 80.
I know. Now it seems like we need maybe potentially 3 spots on the offensive line.
Yeah, that hurts, especially if we don't know what with Teven Jenkins.
We might need 4 defensive linemen, right? We need another weapon at wide receiver. So there's a lot of needs. Hopefully we could fill some of those, but I think the offensive line and defensive line are going to be critical. I think that's how you win championships based off that.
We'll break down a little bit more from Fields' game here in a moment. First, want to tell you about Shady Rays. You've heard us tell you a lot about Shady Rays here during the football season, and that's because they're doing remarkable stuff. They never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, and they set out to change that. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses because our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, durability, and styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. And the best part is you break them, they'll send you a new one. You lose them. That's even better if you lose them. Because I've gone into sunglass stores before. I've been like, sorry, man, I don't have them. They're missing. How did they know that you even had him in the first place? Shady Rays is like, oh, yeah, we tracked this. We're good. We'll send you another one. No questions asked. Drop them in a lake, off a cliff, whatever. They will replace them. And with that strong of a protection program, they still managed to make the quality that I can tell you from my own pairs of Shady Rays that are as good as any expensive pair out there. And Shady Rays customers agree with over 200,000 5-star reviews. This is exclusive for our listeners. Shady Rays is running their deepest deal of the season. If you use the code CHGO, you'll get 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. Buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for as low as $54. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades.
Shady Rays.
Hey, you got that voice coming.
That sounded like the Vikings horn.
Yeah.
Shady Rays. It's third down.
Love Shady Rays. Hey, the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping you, your family, your business, and the communities we live in. We're going to help you by saving you money and saving you energy. ComEd offers the free facility assessments that can help you with your lighting, your HVAC systems, your commercial kitchen equipment, industrial processes. That's a big time thing. The Duke's got a super chat. We'll get to you in a second, Duke. But I got to tell you that within 3 or 4 weeks, customers are going to get a detailed report showing where they can be more energy efficient. And all of a sudden, you're going to start saving that money. The pocketbook expanding, the world becoming a better place. All this is going on, Woot. It is awesome. How do you do this? I mean, I know you want to know. Carm's here to tell you. And you don't want to wait, by the way. Energy saving tips are available for you right now. Go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz, ComEd.com/poweringbiz, or call them 855-433-2700, or Hoge Business, Hoge at ComEd.com, business at ComEd.com. to get yourself scheduled for an energy assessment online. Assessment. And get the assessment with Trubisky to the Sanborn over to the assessment online. ComEd.com/facility assessment. It's a great program. Get involved. Thank you to our friends at ComEd. What are we laughing about?
I don't know.
The
Duke?
super chat.
The Duke with a 99.99er. Sorry, I'm late.
Gosh.
Carm, you SOB wearing that jersey. Me and Hoge always knew Sanborn, and you jinxed him by jumping on. How does Ndamukong Suh punch Justin during a slide and doesn't get ejected, let alone a flag? Fields is what? Him. No doubt. Broncos country.
Let's roll.
One
in the middle.
Look,
Broncos
Duke,
up 3-0.
Just for you, buddy.
Take it off.
Bye-bye.
I'm taking it off.
And the good part is it's probably only a high ankle sprain. So
yeah,
Sanborn,
listen,
probably not anything serious.
I apologize to the great Jack Sanborn, and this was meant to be done with good intention, obviously. But we're gonna fold it up.
Maybe if he had gotten the stitch.
And,
why don't you display it right there? We'll have,
display it. Do you think
in memory of Jack Sanborn?
In memory, yeah, display.
Why couldn't you just wear the Hester one today, man?
No, he's not allowed to ever touch that or say his name ever again.
Yeah, just
thanks
a
lot.
Sandman.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, Jack.
No, but I
Sanborn.
loved that moment from Justin. Yeah, Suh definitely punched him right in the helmet.
Suh's been doing that for
and
years.
yeah,
in
his
NFC
whole
North.
life. Suh, I could go all day. Seems like so long ago when he was, dirty, being that dirty player for the Lions. But here he is.
We've literally sat here every single freaking week and talked about Justin Fields not getting a call.
100%. And that's why I love
Josh
that
Allen
moment where he popped
Justin
up.
Herbert.
And that's why I love that.
Phillips had a sack on him.
Yeah.
The defensive end from Miami. Sacked him, normal play, fell on top of him. They call a flag. I'm like, unnecessary. What? Justin Fields gets hit in the head.
From behind
by Suh.
after he's already sliding. Yeah. So that alone could have been a penalty. And he gets whacked across the head with Suh's forearm.
Then he pulls his...
And then he got right in the ref's face.
Good
and
for
I
him.
love that because they're going to go back and see that it should have been called. And
he's going to get fined. Suh will get fined for that for sure.
The ref should get fined.
Right?
Yeah,
Suh's doing his job. I mean... The ref's not going to call it, then,
he
hey.
ain't doing his job.
Did you see last night?
The ref's not doing his job.
This is a totally different sport. Did you see John Morant got kicked out of that game last night?
For talking to a fan.
For talking to a fan? Is that illegal?
Talking about?
I'm telling you
I've never seen that in my life.
These refs are getting soft.
Agreed.
They're not like the bricklayer over here.
No,
but
like they're getting
I don't
soft.
think it's even just. I
put
think
the
part of
camera
it is
on me,
getting
Corey,
soft.
not
I think part of it's also they're like kind of getting fame themselves, and it's like they're almost like
an ego thing,
like taking advantage of. Like, how do you kick John Moran out last night for talking to a fan? Is that even like is that a real rule?
Well, I don't think so unless.
You have to think about the mentality of a person, with all due respect, who wants to be a ref. I'm sure there's a lot of them who want to give back to the sport and want to be out there. And then there's another group that wants the power and somehow, some way thinks they're as big as the game of the people that
Hercules flexing.
Like, dude, I get it, and I'm with you. Like, I want to be a professional athlete too. I'd love to have lived the life of Corey Wootton, running out of the tunnel at Ryan Field / Soldier Field. But I don't have that talent, and neither do you, Mr. Referee. Even though you've however you've gotten your way to being out there, and congratulations, it's a fantastic gig. But to not have the the perspective of I'm here to be a fair arbiter and uplift the game and not be the story of the game is a bad job.
They need to have crews, and I know they watch it remote from New York, right? But they need to have crews watching each and every game, going over every call that happens. So that way they can call into their ear or whatever if they miss something of that nature. Because there's too many missed calls or bad calls by people, and they need a second opinion on it,
and
like
for
right away.
For the record, hard job, very hard job. A million things going on a football field, like the fields play that we're talking about. I mean, there's a lot of traffic there, and whatever, you miss it. But it's also like, does anybody see it out there?
Yeah, but when it's an emphasis in the league now for years to protect the quarterbacks, and you're only protecting some of them and not others,
like the top 10 quarterbacks, it's like they get every call, and then everything else you're like,
yeah. There's no balance to it. It drives me. And crazy.
Help them out too, because there's other things they have to pay attention to, like the spot of the ball and things like that. And I'm watching the World Cup, and shout out to Argentina, they win it. They have these like sensors and things like that. They use technology to help the refs out, and the NFL's in the Stone Age, and now that's more things the refs have to pay attention to. If they didn't have that.
Did you just shout out our Argentinian Bears fans? Is that what just happened?
Did.
Bear down
worldwide.
Argentina.
CHGO worldwide.
All right, John Davis here. I don't know if he's an Argentina fan or not, but he checks in here with a $10 super chat. Justin Fields is the heart and soul of the team. Defense played hard today, especially Jalen Johnson. Valus with another horrendous fumble. Overall, entertaining game to watch. Appreciate the show. Second one from John, $5 jumping in here. He says, also, my God, good to see Justin screaming at the refs. Took several shots today to the head. All were not called. Show him respect. Sick of it. I'm with you, man.
100%. And I would have loved if he had just literally stayed on the ref for a couple more seconds.
Get a flag.
Watch the tape. See
the ref chirping back at him.
Yeah.
Get back to the huddle.
Yeah,
Watch
he said,
the tape.
you could read his lips. The ref goes, "That's not a flag. That's not a flag." It's
Watch
like,
the tape.
Yeah, it is. You idiot.
Yeah.
You're
Unfortunate.
That's what I would have said back.
Tom Brady.
You started so, and then at the end, you're like, yeah, it is, you idiot.
watch the.
If Tom Brady took that same hit, Ndamukong Suh would have been suspended for 4 weeks. No, I'm being serious. Tom Brady, they would have been like, oh no. He would have been like this, and they would have said, shh, before he even hit him.
Also, Brady would have jumped up and thrown the biggest hissy fit in the history of
and then the
NFL.
refs have finally done it.
Hey, but you know what? We talked about it, and you said it's an entertaining game. Somebody in the chat said it. Mark said it too. It was. And we talked about it before the game. We're all sitting here thinking they're going to get blown out. Once again, they don't. They make it a game. They get it all the way down to one score at the very end. If they could get a stop, who knows? Justin Fields gets the ball back. They cover. Who cares? Just in general.
I care.
Adam cares. Good job. But just in general,
He's trying to win that money.
We talked about, this is silly to call it a measuring stick game. And yes, the Bears have a ton of holes to still fill. Just because they kept this a ball game doesn't change that fact. But I still feel fairly good about, they're not going to be able to fill every hole. But if they can just add to what they're doing here and building this foundation brick by brick.
Ooh.
There it is.
With some brick juice?
With some brick juice sprinkled in there. I feel good about next year where at least half of these 10 games that are decided by one score, the Bears can be on the winning end of those. So, it was a measuring stick game. Next week against the Bills at home again, another measuring stick game. And then I think the Lions are a great example after that, the week after that, who we play, of somebody that we can become next year, that realistically, we're not going to be the Eagles or Bills next year, but we can realistically be everything the Lions are being this year with the right moves made.
Short week this week for the Bear, which...
For the who?
The Bears have a short week.
Oh, yeah, they're on Saturday.
It's
one day less than the Bills have.
Not ideal. What's up to our guy in the chat? Bear Forever 14, $10. Thank you. The mistakes made on the field were legitimately frustrating today, but man, was it fun to see the Bears going toe-to-toe with a legit Super Bowl contender. Just imagine what next year could look like. They were in there, man. They were
Real quick, though, the Eagles... I mean, they might as well have taken the week off. What the hell were they doing?
They didn't look like they really wanted to be out there.
The Eagles definitely played down to the
A.J.
Bears
Brown
level
looks
today.
sick of being guarded by, Jalen
Well, that
Johnson.
I would actually give Jalen Johnson credit for. But, like...
The kicker, when he doinked the field goal, he looked cold.
Well,
He did. He looked cold. Like, I'm not going to kick
Jake
this.
Elliott's
It's
from
freezing.
here. He went to Lions Township. He should be used to
Yeah,
Chicago.
brick by brick.
We were talking
Mark
the
can't
whole
handle
damn
the
game
cold.
about
He
how the
lives in
Eagles weren't
Chicago.
running the ball.
No,
You're right.
That's what I'm looking at their strengths, and I'm like, we don't stop the outside zone run at all. And remember their first run to Miles Sanders, he broke out for like 30 yards.
Yeah.
I'm like, why haven't they been doing this from the beginning? So they didn't seem like they had a game plan. Like they were like, okay, we're going to exploit what the Bears don't do well. It just seemed like uncharacteristic. They got really pass happy, and they were doing a bunch of design runs with Jalen Hurts.
The defense just played really well.
It was
they didn't get to the quarterback.
I just think they didn't
stopped
have-
Miles Sanders had 4 carries like early in the fourth quarter.
We intimidated them out of doing that.
Honestly, it was a weird game. Like, yes, they
was
were in it,
weird,
but
but-
I never felt like just don't. I honestly, for me, in the fourth, I said, don't win this game.
Yeah.
Don't. This is not. They didn't like play some great game that they should have won. That's not what this was. They were able to hang around today, and they had, yes, it was a 1-score game, but
secondary had a great game.
yeah. And Jalen Hurts threw some balls that were horrendous. That credit to Kyler Gordon and whatnot. But I mean, he's throwing some balls up there.
The only downfield plays they had of success were just the go up and get it balls, where the receiver is the one
Kyler
really
Gordon
making the
just
play.
mistimed that jump. He's got really good coverage and kind of jumped like an inch off the ground and just didn't high point it well. But the secondary has been playing pretty good. I mean, 25-20. I'll take that all day, right? Obviously, we would like to win, but you don't want to win because it's a better draft position if we lose.
I'll tell you what, I kind of like the Cowboys next week.
Sure.
First of all, I think both teams were looking ahead this week, clearly.
Could be.
The Cowboys lost to the Jaguars, but they're going to be at home. I just don't – I don't know. I guess it was just this week. The Eagles did blow the gates out of the Giants last week.
I think today is our record for the furthest into a show where we haven't gotten to the Fields guide.
Yeah,
Normally, it's the first thing we get to, but there's so many other things today that were interesting.
Well, and Lawrence has a poll going on right now, which is somewhat leading us into the Fields guide at some point here. How are you feeling about today's loss? Answer 1 is I'm cool with it for the draft pick. And the other is Gurr.
The other thing, too, we haven't talked about the draft order. Normally, those are the first 2 things out the gate we talk about. I'm sorry.
Too much
Gurr,
brick juice.
Bears blew another one.
Mute your mic again.
No. The free-flowing brags is the best flowing brags. Let it all just come out. All your thoughts.
Brick and mortar, baby.
Yeah,
Let's
Carmen,
go.
please read the poll.
Here's the. this is the poll at CHGO Sports on Twitter, right? That's where we can. Oh, it's on our YouTube page. Sorry about that. I wasn't exactly sure where this is new to. I'm new to this. We all are, except for Lawrence, who's been doing this now for a little bit. The poll is this: how are we feeling about today's loss? Answer A: cool with it for the draft pick. Answer B is Gurr. Bears blew another one. Gurr.
Bearman Gurr. I know him.
Keith Frederick Carm, stop what? I need to know. I was fire Carm, hire Fishman. Fishbane is what you want to do, unless you want to hire Matt Fishman, which I don't think.
Fishman?
Matt
I don't know
Fishman
if
would be a
he's
decent
still-
hire. I
I
mean,
don't know
I'd
Matt
fire me
Fishman.
for Matt
Reminds me
Fishman.
of Bill Simmons.
Yeah, I do.
Dang, the car mate is real in here, huh?
I would really love to be on a Bill Simmons career level if I could just. How do I get to do that?
Just There it is. Let's go. This is the Fields Guide presented by Green Ridge Farm.
Yo, what is going on?
doing?
Such a good tune.
When we get this graphic off the screen, you have to see on camera what you just did.
gosh.
But Fields goes 14 for 21, 152 yards, 2 tutties, and no INTs, I guess, was good. He had one close call. That one throw to Cole Kmet was weird. It was way behind him when he should have put touch on it. 6 sacks. Honestly, it could have been more. The big crazy run he had, he should have been sacked in the backfield for sure, but he just does incredible things. 95 yards. Congrats to Justin Fields. He becomes just the 3rd quarterback ever to reach 1,000 rushing yards in a season.
Woo! Yeah. Honestly, the highlight of the game for me.
Wait, you have to do. What did you just do?
Can we get the music again?
No, because then
I can't.
you're not going
What
to
did
be
he do?
able.
He did something like he did.
I mean, it's just like when you get the Fields Guide music, you just got to go with this one.
Oh my goodness!
It's so good.
Wow.
Can we get a clip on that for IG Reels? with a little house music.
Oh my God.
Sunday night, baby. Let's go. The 39-yard run. This dude right here,
Went nuts.
Corey P. Wootton, was out of his seat, high-fiving everybody. It was just that was the highlight of my day today.
Yeah, he was excited.
I was excited. I thought he stayed in too. Imagine if he would have stayed in on that run.
Carm was the buzzkill before the guy even crossed it.
He went out of
he
bounds.
stepped out of bounds for sure.
Well, you all were jumping up and down like he went stepped out. It's not a
Carm's that
touchdown.
friend that just.
It was
buzzkills
still
everyone.
a sick run before the spin move at the end,
I understand, and I was enjoying it, but I wasn't.
which I do have to say, Justin, keep your feet in bounds.
But I think it's just incredible what he's doing with the offensive line today that got their ass beat low key.
Bad.
I mean, sugarcoat it. He probably should have got sacked 10 times today. Low key, he avoided a bunch of them. But it's unbelievable to me like what he's able to do, and his heart. You know, coming in there, getting an IV, going back in the game. You know, scoring another touchdown. It's impressive what we've seen with him. You know, with the lack of weapons and offensive line has been struggling. So the one thing that we talked about is his footwork at times, especially on those quick throws.
Yeah.
He like one time he almost did a split. I was like, what is going on here? Set your feet. You have quick footwork. That's not an issue. And complete the throw. Sometimes he tries to get away with that little gunslinger throw. That needs to be removed because he's going to start throwing some picks off some tip balls or something based off an errant, easy throw for him.
Even the touchdown to Montgomery, I didn't think he needed to throw it sidearm there.
Yeah. He's like trying to get too cute at times.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like, especially like a lot of quarterbacks like that, like Justin Herbert and Rodgers. Sometimes when they have those, they kind of, Patrick Mahomes, they try to flick it out there and try
Which
to
is
be
fine
cute.
in certain moments when you got to throw it. And we have seen him do it a few times this
He's
season
been
where
getting better at it than
Yeah.
today he missed it.
But think about Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, these shorter quarterbacks that play on their toes and find windows. Like Fields, to me, for a guy who's much taller, he's 6'4", why has he hit so many helmets this year? Now, he didn't do that today, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he almost throws shorter than he really is.
Right, because like almost on the interception downfield to Cole Kmet, the almost interception,
Yeah.
I should say. Instead of throwing the touch ball, he's trying to zip it through three
that was
guys.
the wrong. And you could tell right away he knew it because he went like this in the air. He's like, touch, like he's telling himself.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But then the very next play was the sidearm bad footwork throw.
Exactly.
So those were back-to-back plays. That not very good. But look, overall, that dude was just – it felt like he was carrying the whole offense
Every week he does that.
on his back. And he's going up against the best team in the league today, the possible MVP in Jalen Hurts. So shout out to Justin Fields.
I'm having a reflective moment over here of why I didn't enjoy that run as much, because literally every time he was running today, I couldn't get past the he's going to get hurt. Like that's really where I was living.
Don't talk about that.
And he didn't, and he made it through, and he actually left the field and got an IV and came back and rolled out and threw a touchdown pass. Dude is tough as hell. And on that run, by the way, I mean, how many quarterbacks who are getting, hog-tied, neck-tied, whatever, they bust through that, and then all of a sudden, not just get out of it, but then like, okay, now I've got a seventh gear that I can hit. Pretty tough.
He's a legit runner. You could make an argument he's one of the best runners in the game. Running backs, hands down. I mean, break tackles, everything is vision. It's impressive.
I mean, his legs are like
for me, I'm just at the point where Justin Fields really doesn't have anything else to prove to me for the season. And so it's great to see him make plays, run down the field, another highlight reel that I wish it would have been counted as a touchdown. We'll count it anyway. Great play. Passing-wise, did they really develop anything in the passing game today? No, he had the nice check down to David Montgomery when the blitz was coming in his face. At the end of the game, when they're down 2-score, he got the touchdown this time as opposed to the Packers a couple weeks ago where he threw the interception. So, okay, there's progress there, putting the Bears in a position to maybe have a last-second comeback. Those happen in the NFL. The one takeaway I had just watching it is I think Justin Fields is every bit the quarterback, if not better than Jalen Hurts. If Justin Fields was on the Eagles and throwing to the likes of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, the times they ran RPO for Jalen Hurts and him trying to get out of the pocket as opposed to and make a play as opposed to the way Justin Fields does, there's a huge difference. And Jalen Hurts became the first quarterback ever to have 2 straight seasons with 10 touchdowns. Justin Fields will be the second after next year. And it's just, to me, the talent level is so much different between those two guys. And Jalen Hurts is a very talented quarterback, so I'm not knocking him by saying this. The sky is the limit for Justin Fields.
We had that conversation when Nick Wright was on Bears After Dark on Thursday night, and I asked him point blankly, do you think that the Eagles would be, if you switched out the quarterbacks, would be the same? And he was like, I don't want to take credit away from Jalen, which I think is unfair. Like, do we really think that if the Eagles had Fields, they'd be 13-1 and be the exact same /14-0? It's a huge statement. If it is correct,
maybe not 13-1, but they certainly would be a great team, and Justin Fields would be every bit the MVP candidate because he's on a good team, winning games, and he has this dynamic ability that no one else in the league has. And oh, by the way, he can just throw these jump balls to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith every week that they come down with. If you watch the Eagles highlight reel, that's all it is 50-yard jump balls. I'm pretty sure Justin can pull that off.
Well, all the really good quarterbacks in the league, what do? They have weapons that make plays.
Right.
You look at Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce is helping him out left and right all the time, right? In Miami, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, right? In Buffalo, Stephon Diggs. There's playmakers that are making plays on a weekly basis for him. He'll throw it and they'll get it. So Justin Fields doesn't have that. Right, when the game's on the line, he'll throw it up to somebody. He's got to throw the ball right on the money for things to happen. So
Kelce had 10 catches today for 105 yards. Juju Smith-Schuster had 10 catches today for 88 yards. Just looking at the Chiefs.
But I really think Justin Fields can be an MVP, top 5 quarterback. I 100% believe that. If we surround him with the right talent in the offensive line, I think that's going to be critical, especially this offseason and these next 2 years for sure. If we're gonna make a push at going for the Super Bowl in 2 to 3 years, it's going to be critical to surround him with that talent.
No argument from me.
I think what we're talking about here is sort of at the crux of it is the reason why Jalen Hurts went in the second round and the other one went 11th overall, right? Just pure talent, what you can scout on them. I think the question is, can Fields take the jump that Hurts is seemingly taking this year in the passing game? And I think that's even what Nick was getting at the other day, Nick Wright. If he does, I don't think there's any question that Fields becomes the more dangerous overall quarterback because size, speed. I love Getsy described him as a power cutter earlier. He's not as necessarily shifty, but the way he cuts and keeps his power is why.
Hester-esque, right?
Yeah.
That's where he would line it up like against the Packers, the way he and then planted his foot, bang.
Yeah. It's less like this stuff and more just like a subtle whoop, right, and get vertical. And then you can't catch him. No, it's ridiculous.
It's unbelievable, what he's able to do. I said, I think as a pure passer, I think he's better than Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, he needs to improve on his passing, Justin Fields.
Yep.
But I think when he throws absolute dimes out there, you're like, wow, this guy can make every throw. He can run like Lamar Jackson, if
Very
not
much
better. So imagine when everything comes together. That's why I'm like, I really believe that he could be a top 5 quarterback and an MVP type of candidate. It's all about what Ryan Poles does, right? He is deciding basically this Bears future, Justin Fields' future. So, hey, he's got the keys now. Let's see what he's going to do with it.
And I just hope they don't take the low-hanging. I know they have a million holes to fill, but I would like to see them add one more big-time wide receiver, one weapon. And I know that's a tall order to ask for. I think, A.J. Brown became available. I don't think anybody saw that coming. There's different names out there.
We try to get DeAndre Hopkins.
Exactly.
Trade for him. He's got at least 2 to 3 more.
Or Mike Evans. Who knows what the Bucs are doing with Mike Evans or Chris Godwin or, one of these wide receivers to give them to fill out Chase Claypool and Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet. Because it's easy to go, oh, well, we scored 30 points a week for those weeks in the second half of the season with Justin Fields, so we should just focus on the D-line. Well, then you're literally still asking Justin Fields to do everything because that's what it's been for those 30 points a week. He deserves weapons. He deserves an offensive lineman. I don't think they're going to lose sight of that, but there's so many holes to fill, and where they rank it in priority, wide receivers might start falling down the list, and that's going to frustrate me because when you're handing the ball to Velus Jones and he's fumbling it, I get pissed off. I want him to have a weapon to work with.
Faith in Poles, brother.
I got faith. I like Ryan Poles, so I got faith.
He's well aware that they need help at wide receiver.
Well, right, but I think this is a fair conversation to have at this point. Like, faith in Poles, but
just look at
he's
all
at
the
least
holes.
0 for 3 so far in his wide receivers.
Right,
but maybe not completely 0 for 3. I think Claypool deserves a little bit of a longer evaluation here, but he's not blowing you away. The Jones thing didn't work. The Byron Pringle thing, good for him catching a wide open touchdown today.
Jones was a good pick, right?
Well, I'm just talking about wide receivers, though. I'm just talking about his ability to add the wide receiver help that Justin Fields needs. Has he done anything yet that makes you feel like, oh yeah, he's gonna? Now, that being said, no one knew A.J. Brown was gonna be available this time last year.
Right.
So there could be one of those fish out there that they're able to pull out, but it's going to take draft capital again. You just traded some for Claypool.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is he's aware. I'm not saying he's going to nail it. And it's an excellent point. Okay, I mean, clearly he's aware. He tried to jump the market to go get Chase Claypool and was willing to pay up to get it because he knows they need it. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out to this point.
Oh, and then I guess the other name too would be the wide receiver from the Bengals. Their second.
Tyler Boyd?
No, not
T.
Boyd.
Higgins?
T. Higgins. What are they going to do with him because they have to pay Jamar Chase? That's another name to look at. But to your point, you need draft capital to get those guys.
But I think if it's worth it, if you can get a true number one, like a 1,300 to 1,500 yard receiver, you got to do it. You got to do it because Justin Fields. You got to take advantage of his talent and him being young. You have to now.
That's why today is ultimately a win too, because in what you were talking about in the pregame show. Okay, you can trade down from 5, but another loss, sitting at 2. You need multiple picks. You're just there's too many holes all over the place, and hopefully we didn't create another huge hole with Teven today. Fingers crossed that is not a super serious injury, and we'll get Jenkins back because we need less holes, not more.
What are the Broncos doing? They're tied 3-3.
Let's go. DNVR, you got this.
Do something, DNVR.
There is a quick update on Teven Jenkins. We will be hearing from both Will and Nick, who are at Soldier Field, but multiple reporters. Looks like this is from Pat Finley, for instance. Teven Jenkins went to the hospital with a neck injury, but Matt Eberflus said the evaluation was encouraging.
Scary.
That was the word he used, encouraging. But there wasn't much of an update other than that. But so Jenkins went to the hospital. It could just be a bad stinger.
That's the thing, because it's such a weird feeling. I had that my freshman year in college, and it was like zing through your body, and your arm is numb. And
does it hurt? Because he looked like he was writhing in pain.
It just feels like your arm is super numb.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that's the case because it's just such a weird feeling. That's something that no one has ever felt. So I'm hoping that's the case, and he got scared by it, and that's why they carted him off.
So how do you get over that, by the way? Okay, that was super scary. I didn't know for a second if I was going to be able to walk. Okay, now I'm going to go back out there and do the same thing that I was doing.
Shoot, I got a neck roll, and that kind of gave me a little confidence for the time being, and then I eventually got rid of it. But, yeah, football is a dangerous game, right? Anytime you're out there, you know the risk. Like, you could have one injury that affects you for the rest of your life, i.e. Johnny Knox, who I played with, right?
Yeah.
He's still, suffering from some of the effects of that back injury, right? He had some nerve damage, doesn't have still the same strength in his legs. And it's so unfortunate sometimes when people have those life-altering, not only career-altering,
Right.
but life-altering injury. So hopefully it's promising. Hopefully it is a bad stinger, and he's able to keep it moving because the recovery with that is usually 100%.
Teven is a dog, but Teven is also a thoughtful guy. Like, there's more in that guy's life than just the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he's going to have some epiphany and decide that he doesn't want to play football anymore from this, and we're just wildly speculating right now. But he's a different dude, Teven.
Well, shout out to the Bears. They did Joniak did a good interview with Jenkins, and he got pretty real about what August was really like for him and how he was actually telling his fiance, like, yeah, we're probably gonna pack up. We're probably gonna be on a different team. Like that trade talk was real. I still don't necessarily know exactly where it was coming from or why it was happening, and I still think
Poles Cap lying.
Poles could have done.
My guy, I got him.
Poles could have done a better job of communicating because Poles came out pretty strongly and said, we're not trying to trade you. Well, you should tell him that. And to Poles' credit, he did admit that later in the interview he did with myself and Adam Johns. And so I think they cleared all that up. But just getting back to the idea that, like, Jenkins is a thoughtful guy. He, was in a dark place. I don't want to, maybe that's not the right way to put it, but frustrated, doubting himself.
In limbo, yeah.
Yeah, which I think he admitted in the interview with Joniak. So it's a guy you want to root for, right? And it just sucks to see him already dealing with now a neck on top of a back, on top of a hip, and I don't know if we'll see him again this season, but he was certainly a bright spot in this season so far.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see him because I hope he recovers fully, and hopefully this is not a career-altering injury for him. Hopefully he bounces back because I think when he's playing at a high level like he has been this year, he should be in the Pro Bowl conversation 100%.
Yeah,
great.
Right? And he's a guy that could be a stable. I told you, he reminds me a lot of Kyle Long, right? Just a little bit nastier. Like he's that old school type player. When after the play, he's gonna push you. Justin Fields gets hit late. He's gonna pop that guy. He's gonna talk some shit to him, and that's what you want on your team. You want one offensive lineman that's gonna be kind of like that bully that's gonna stick up for you. Your quarterback.
There was actually a couple times in the game after Jenkins went out today that I thought Fields took an unnecessary shot or something. Yeah. The offensive lineman could have been a little bit more aggressive and helping
you pick him
out.
up, you push that other guy, you let him know. You don't do that. Like you have to stick up for your guys. Like honestly, whether you got beat or not, it doesn't matter. It's just the principle of it.
And I've talked to a bunch of the old linemen this season about this, and they feed off Teven's energy and the way he finishes. And I just think there's even an emotional effect in not having him out there in the game
sure.
when he comes out today. So
shout out by the way to Kyle Long who tweeted that he was wished that there and. Yeah, boy, Boogie, just saying it in the chat right now.
Yeah.
I wish that I had been healthy enough, long enough to block for Justin Field. That was kind of fun, by the way.
That's what Kyle Long tweeted earlier today.
Earlier.
Yeah.
So
great dude, Kyle Long. Shout out to him, man.
Hey, with all these local blackouts, have you ever struggled to watch the Bears here at home? You might live in Indiana, and you might be stuck in the Colts market, or even worse, stuck in Wisconsin with the Packers. Shout out to the Badgers, though. No one deserves that, especially this year. An incredible virtual private network VPN, like private internet access, can fix those problems for you. Private internet access helps you change your IP address's location to provide an extra layer of security when finding your favorite content. Would you ever just hand your phone or laptop off to just anyone and let them peruse your search history? No, you would not do that. It might make you rethink some of your habits. And this can also help you, by the way, if you're in America. I don't know if you ever tried to use NFL Plus. Terrible product. Guess what? The international version is way better. And if you use this, you can access the international version. Stop internet service providers from invading your privacy, profiting off your data. Private internet access is the world's most transparent VPN with over 30 million downloads. You'll be able to trust them to keep your online life private. A single subscription allows you to protect up to 10 devices at once. I know a ton of our fans at home and abroad have been looking for an assist like this to watch Chicago sports. I'm so excited we found private internet access. So if you want to enjoy all the benefits of private internet access, now is the time to subscribe. Head to piavpn.com/bears. You'll get an 83% discount. Seriously, 83%. That's ridiculous. So for just $2.03 a month, You'll also get 4 extra months completely free as well. You must go to piavpn.com/bears for a truly private digital life. piavpn.com/bears.
Bears and Blackhawks. We'll have CHGO Blackhawks coming up later tonight. Why? Because the Blackhawks are at the United Center taking on the New York Rangers. Why am I bringing that up? You know why I'm bringing it up. Because you should buy tickets if you're going to a game tonight on the Game Time Ticket app.
Down home game every Sunday night.
Pretty much.
Are you going tonight?
I know we got.
You're like Johnny Hawk this season.
Yeah, we got first night of the big Hanukkah tonight. We're going over to the Judy Katz's.
Oh, there you go.
We're gonna have a
Happy Hanukkah,
Yeah,
man.
thank you. We're gonna have a.
Or Smokey Robinson would say, "Happy Chinooka."
Chinook, right there.
Do you remember that?
I do.
That's fantastic.
Hey, we appreciated it from Smokey and everybody else who was pronounced it incorrectly. That's fine. Yes, let's all get along out there. Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site. 2 tickets tonight for the Blackhawks. Upper corner, 9th row, great seat for a hockey game. It's basically where we sat the other night for basketball.
I was impressed with those seats.
And
For some reason, I had it in my head that that wasn't a good place to watch basketball. It was actually fine.
It's fine. It's even better for hockey up there. $104 for 2 tonight. Apparently, I don't know. Blackhawks have started winning games that I wasn't aware of. A little more expensive tonight. People want to go to the Sunday night hockey docky.
You got one up there for 41.
Hockey docky.
Oh, you did for 2.
I did for 2.
Math.
I put the
and you
fees.
put the fees in there.
Yes.
Good job by you.
You
Nice
gotta
job.
know what it actually
You gotta
is.
be honest.
Right?
Yes.
You know what you're signing up for.
This is $52 a ticket. It's a little bit. Hey, other nights it's a lot less on the Game Time Ticket ad, but tonight people want to go see the Rangers. I don't know why, they just do. Maybe it's because the Hawks beat the Rangers the last time they won a game. But you're not going to find a better deal in the secondary market anywhere than Game Time Tickets. You can go on all the other sites. I don't need to mention them. The lowest you will pay is on Game Time, and that's for concerts, that's for sporting events, that's for shows, upper tank. Right on the glass, wherever you want to go. Game Time Tickets. And by the way, if you love CHGO, right there in the description, you can buy your tickets there. It's the best way to support us. Game Time Tickets. Get involved.
I want to shout out to Game Time because I did exactly this. Went through the description. Friday, I said this on the pregame. I missed out on our allotment of tickets for CHGO Bulls Takeover because I took too damn long to decide if I was going or not. So I needed 2 tickets. I went on the Game Time app, followed the link through the description, and I knew what section our tickets were in for CHGO. We're in 314, and sure enough, 2 of the cheapest tickets available were right there in 314, 3 rows in front of where the rest of our seats were.
I was wondering why you weren't sitting with us. I was like,
you
oh,
sat in
Adams.
front of them. You won up them real quick. You said,
Yeah.
I'm sitting in front of you.
I got the seats in front of you. You thought I was just being antisocial?
Yeah. Oh, Adam.
He won
Too
up,
cool.
y'all.
He didn't want to be around me. I was,
Well, that was true. Can I
acting a fool.
real moment? Braggs is a sweetheart.
He really is.
What?
Braggs goes.
Oh,
so
come
I'm
on.
bringing James. This is James's first Bulls game at the UC. He's actually been to one in Milwaukee before, but Braggs goes to the bathroom or whatever, and comes back with a little Benny the Bull stuffed animal for
It's
James.
the Christmas season.
Such a
Look at
sweetheart.
this guy.
This
He is
hardcore.
I love this guy.
Rick Land. Look at those,
And
Merry
those man
Christmas,
brick
tall.
hands.
And it was the highlight of James's night.
Yeah, Jenny was like, he's not going to want that. I go,
Oh.
This is kids, because at first she thought I was getting it for Addie. I was like, no, I'm getting it for James. Addie don't need
Dude, he,
this.
he slept with it last night.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Wow.
Then he was holding it
He's
up
like,
like Simba. It was great.
Yeah, the whole fourth quarter. I'm like, James, they're down by 20, man. It ain't going to work.
Braggs has a
anymore.
great heart. I'll tell you what.
Oh.
It's like those
Get
guys in the
outta
movies,
here.
right? The harder
Get
outer
out.
shell. He's really in. He's just a
Give
big
him a
softie.
kid,
That's what's in that
raise
brick
a
shoe.
I gotta go to work because I'm just soft in the heart, baby. Benny the Bull, baby. Brick juice. Here you go, Hoge,
my
son.
mom just texted me. It was like, you and Corey are twins. I was like, not quite. Enough of that camera angle.
We got some calluses on our hands. That's probably the only thing that we're twinning about, right? Because I pumped this iron there.
Oh, boy.
You're a hero. That was a good move.
He's
Come
a
on
good
now.
guy.
It's nothing.
But great event, by the way. CHGO Bulls
Great.
Takeover. We'll have more, not to pat ourselves on the back, but, we're doing our part. It'd be nice if some of the teams in the city did. We have these great tailgates, these takeover events. We go see. I mean, I was legit excited for Bulls Knicks. It brings back all the memories of my childhood, and I don't care if John Starks isn't out there anymore. I want to, I'll be up there in the 300 level saying "F you Knicks" all night.
Hey, I
not
grew
with
up
the
a
kid
Knicks
there,
fan, man. I used to go to those games.
See,
Oakley,
See?
Mason, Patrick Ewing.
Who was your favorite?
My favorite player?
Yeah.
Charles Oakley.
You're a Knicks fan?
I grew up.
Oakley didn't bother me so much. John Starks.
And I love Larry Johnson when he came there.
Just know that Oak never wanted to leave here. He wanted to be a Bull, and we just we had to do what we had to do to get that big man in here.
All I know is John Starks when he had that lefty dunk over Jordan, man. I was loving
Did you guys win that series?
Oh, here we go.
Oh! I mean, I go to Madison Square Garden, and there it is, like in the concourse, the dunk, and it's I mean, it's like it almost would be like the Bears like highlighting the doink. Like, hey, we made the playoffs that year. That was
I really
sweet.
thought we were going to have a reverse doinkage today.
We
Because
did.
they doinked the field goal to go up 2013. It's the Eagles. I was like, man, the doink. And now Justin's going to lead us down. It didn't happen. Almost some reverse doinkage today. Maybe
It's almost like when you're the better team, it covers up.
yeah, it's
that
almost
happening.
yes.
So yeah,
The Cardinals are up 6-3 at halftime. So Broncos still in the fight. DNVR, do something.
come on, DNVR.
Let's ride. Is he playing? Where's he at?
No, he's
No, he's
got a
out. He had the
concussion, right?
concussion.
Yeah. Let's see what.
It's been a tough season for
I took
Denver.
the Cardinals.
Brett Rippon, 11 for 15. It's been sacked 6 times.
Hey, real quick, want to tell you about DraftKings Sportsbook, of course. We spend a lot of times on DraftKings on Sundays because it's the place to be. It's our go-to when betting on the NFL this holiday season because they are an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Right now, everyone can earn up to a 100% boost with DraftKings stepped up same-game parlays. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same-game parlay, combine multiple bets like which team will win, player props, point totals, and more. The more legs you add, the bigger the boost, the bigger your shot to win big. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code CHGO. Place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game, and you will get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
James John says in the chat, Braggs buys gifts for other people's children. Carm tries to take advantage of old man bouncing his head off marble floors.
Wow.
Hey, you gotta be out there. You gotta pay attention to what's going on. That's a story for another time. Perhaps
Someone's Larry David, others are Santa Claus.
Listen,
Santa Claus. I'm leaving. God.
What, are you insulted by Santa?
Wait, speaking of
Not
Denver, real quick,
jolly.
what about Jerry Jeudy? I heard
Jerry
he
Jeudy.
potentially wants out. I heard there's some whispering.
yeah.
okay, let's
Jerry Jeudy, baby.
We're gonna make. I said somebody here that's good at research, so not me. Will's great, Adam's great, Mark's great, Nick's great, Greg's not great. I want a good list of the receivers we could get that may become potential trades, or I know the free agency landscape is bare, but I want that. I want that list.
Oh, by the way, though, all of a sudden, like Zay Jones in Jacksonville is looking like a bargain. 3 years, $24 million.
Yeah, it is.
But he had 3 touchdowns today.
That's why we just need like another weapon or two. And just imagine, like, if you got 2 guys that can go up and get it when you need it on the line.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Be nice.
Let's update the draft order real quick if we can.
favorite part of the show.
Tank standings. Hey, the Texans almost beat the Chiefs today.
Shoot, 2
But they
weeks in
didn't.
a row.
Chiefs won in
Cowboys
overtime.
and then Chiefs.
Bears are temporarily back up to 2, so let's celebrate it in the moment. As soon as the Broncos lose today, then that'll go back to the way it is. But maybe they'll pull out the win.
If they don't,
Otherwise, it's the Bears pick at number 2. The Rams, they still haven't played this weekend. They are in Green Bay tomorrow night with a tough one. And I guess if Arizona wins, then that'll at least push them back a little bit farther. So
Houston takes the Chiefs to OT. Come on, Texans. Come
But
on,
the-
Lovey.
but
they could have beat the Cowboys last week, too.
but the biggest development with our tank list was New Orleans beating Atlanta. Because as I said on the pregame show with some people that are doing the research on Bears Twitter, shout out to my Bears Twitter gang, that if New Orleans had won today, which they did, now the Bears, if they were to only win one more game the rest of the year, which is not even a guarantee, but if they did, the furthest they can now fall with one more win is to the 4th spot in the draft.
That's significant.
So that's significant.
That's big because, again, I don't know if the Vikings are going to have anything to play for in Week 18.
Right. And if we get to that point, then at least
Justin Fields last week. I think regardless, Justin Fields last week. Keep him healthy in the offseason.
All right.
No pushback on that one?
We're not there yet, Like
we'll get. I know. I've been talking about that Minnesota hypothetical for 4 weeks, and I think Adam wants to throw me out the window.
That is a great day for Nathan Peterman to truly show you what he can do.
Treat it like a college bowl game.
Let's go, Peterman.
All right, I'm sitting out, Coach.
All right,
done.
I might boycott that last show then.
Oh no, you don't.
No.
Justin Fields gets to sit. I sit.
Oh,
that's going to be
true.
That's going to be our biggest show of the year when we
It is?
we
It's
bury
not.
we bury the season and we look forward to the Super Bowl off season of free
Haven't we
agency
already been
of
doing that?
draft. We're,
We've been doing that every show.
well, but that'll be
We've
the
been doing that
official.
since,
You
like,
cannot-
week
And I don't know if
4.
you know this, but when the season's over, we still have to do shows every day.
Yes, but you're not missing the last game of the year. You're going to be right there, leading us to victory like you always are. Damn it! And this is just it's going to be a kicking off point to the amazing off season that we're about to have together as we build this thing to the mountaintop.
let's
Bears.
go.
All right.
Thank you.
Farm.
Well, we're hoping to hear from Nick, but we don't have Nick. So we
Let's-
do some more super chats, or we should do Carm's notes. I don't know.
Super chats.
No, let's
knock
serve
out
the
some
people.
super
Let's serve the
chats.
people. Crystal, I love you. Back at you. It's my cousin.
That's your cousin?
No, but I want her to be. She's in the family with that super chat.
Now she's your cousin.
We always get these super chats on Mondays from a guy named Greg Bratt.
Yeah.
Oh,
She says, Carm, I absolutely love you.
Love you
Keep
back.
being your authentic self.
Thank you, Crystal.
Yeah.
Love you back, Crystal.
hashtag love Carm, baby.
I do love Carm.
Crystal, let's talk Bears in the offseason. Hit me up on Twitter. Come on. We got to keep the conversation going.
All right. Joel, our guy
Is
Joel
there a
checks in
couple
all the
now?
time. Happy Hanukkah, Carm.
Oh, thanks, Joel.
Shout out to the members of the Bears Beat, Fishman, Cap, Sylvie, John Greenberg, and, of course, Larry Mayer. What about Potsy?
I got to talk to Potsy if he's in the club.
You don't think he is? I think he is.
Is he really?
I also feel like I should know that, and now I feel like an idiot.
We'll have to find that one out. But thank you to John Greenberg, by the way, for the mention from the little CHGO mention that he gave us over the weekend.
Oh, I didn't see that. What did he say?
He
You wrote an article about me?
He didn't write about you. You're up next, but he mentioned that the entire Derrick Rose conversation started when CHGO personality, yours truly, Mark Carman, started it. So that was very nice of Greenberg.
Oh, that
Thank
was
you, John
a nice
Greenberg.
recognition.
That is
Yeah.
very nice.
Because you did.
I did, but he did not have to do that, and he did. So thank you, John Greenberg. We appreciate you, brother. Go
All right,
Cats.
Alex says, I don't want to see Valus or Ebner on offense again. They combined for 0 for 2 passing and 2 fumbles.
Where's
Hashtag-
Jake Flanagan? He's Treston Ebner's biggest fan.
Ebner didn't lay out for that punt
Right?
early in the game. They almost blocked a punt.
Get after that.
We didn't see, where was Darrington Evans today? Did I miss an injury?
He had a couple,
carries.
a couple great
He did?
runs.
It was mostly the Montgomery show.
It must have been somewhere.
Trying to work those rookies in.
Montgomery
It's just
show.
not working. All right, our guy, the Duke, another $9.99 from him. Can we get a refund on our 3rd-round pick last year? I'm willing to accept store credit.
That should be, you know what? Maybe the NFL should put store credit in there. Like they give you a compensatory pick once every 5 years for something that you missed on.
What if you have to, if you have to cut your draft pick like within his
Compensation.
rookie year, the NFLPA would never agree to that
Like
because
a
it would
third round
encourage
or
guys to lose their jobs.
3rd round or greater, right? There's got to be a stipulation, or 4th round and greater.
If you don't reach this level of performance, then
Because you mostly, if you look at a team, right, the 4th round and up, you expect them to probably be on the team for at least 4 years.
Yeah.
Usually, right? The later draft picks are kind of hit or miss. Usually they'll be there for a year or two, sometimes practice squad, sometimes cut. But 4th and greater, maybe?
What was that thing a couple years ago where with Mike Davis there was incentive to cut him? Oh, it had to do with the comp pick formula.
Yeah, if you cut him,
if you cut him by a certain date, you got your comp pick back.
Exactly.
And so they cut him, and I think they negotiated that out of there to the next CBA because it wasn't. NFLPA doesn't want to see their guys teams having more incentive to cut players already.
But let's just see what Velus Jones does next year, right?
Right.
In preseason, right? Then we'll have a deeper understanding. Did he improve on the things that he didn't do well? The route running, the catching, the fumble situation. So let's just give him a sec. He'll at least get a chance in preseason next year.
All right, let's check in with Nick.
Hit the like button if you love Nicholas Moriano.
Woo, woo.
He's got a 6 stash there. I see you, Nick.
Hit the like button if you want to have a stash like Nicholas. Look at that thing. Wow. Can't hear him.
We don't have to hear him. We need to see him. He's just so big because he's so big.
There we go. Is that a scarf?
This might okay. I was getting crap from my vest here. I don't know why. It's keeping me warm. That's what's the most important thing right now. But I guess people are giving me shit for wearing my orange. I guess.
Oh, it's a vest? No, I'm all for it. Hey,
don't let those guys on the Bears beat talk to you about style, Nick. You got this.
That press box is notoriously cold, so no. And then the coffee is so hot you can't drink it. It literally burns your face.
Some ice cubes in there.
Oh, so quiet in there. It's a great place to take a nap back in the day.
The Soldier Field press box?
Yes,
Where?
Consistently.
Where is there space for a nap?
Right in your chair, right next to, right back in the day, right next to Schuster and Grobstein. I would just take a
little nap on Grobber's shoulder.
I'd take like a 10-minute from like 11:30 to 11:40, and then I'd be ready.
You're taking one of those grandpa naps where you just fall asleep anywhere. That's how you are. Yeah.
Right? Shout out to Les.
I love Grobber. All right, Nick, what do we got from you were down there in the locker room? Where do you want to start? Let's start with Jalen Johnson. I thought he had a pretty good game despite the big catch he allowed. Of course, he got banged up, had that ribs injury, too, at the end.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson, just real quickly, he was – obviously he had the rib injury. That's what he kind of went out the game with. But all of his fingers were taped up, you guys. And I heard him kind of say to Jalen Jones, I think I fractured something. Didn't sound good, but Jalen Johnson was definitely not looking too hot. He actually had to have somebody help him take off his jersey and also his game pants because his fingers were all taped up. So, that's just kind of what the result was after this game. But he said he wanted to make A.J. Brown work for every single catch. And you saw throughout the entirety of that game, there were some big plays that happened from A.J. Brown, but he had to work for him. It's not like Jalen Johnson wasn't right there every time that Jalen Hurts threw the ball in A.J. Brown's direction. So he wanted to make him work for it. And I think, you look at the stat sheet, you're going to see that A.J. Brown had a pretty big day. But when Jalen Johnson was there, it was definitely tough to complete some of those passes. But he also talked about Kyler Gordon, what he was able to do today. He said in this game specifically, and again, coming off of COVID, so missing 2 games, that he saw his confidence grow. And that's where he's seen him grow as a player so far throughout his rookie season. But you saw that he's a ball hawk. He's able to go pick off Jalen Hurts in this game. But really seeing his confidence grow is something that he noticed. But like I said, Jalen Johnson looked pretty banged up, and we'll have to see what his status is for Saturday.
What's going on with Cairo Santos, Nick?
Yeah, so let's talk about, again, the Bears elected to punt when they were, they could have attempted a 49-yard field goal. And here was the reason why. They determined that in pregame warmups, that wasn't in his range. He said he came up short from 46 because it was pretty windy throughout the entirety of the game. I'm even looking at the field right now. The winds are circling. But he said he came up short from 46, but then also made a 50-yarder. So what him and Hightower kind of determined is that you couldn't rely on that kind of inconsistency, especially given field position in this game. So that was the range. And actually, Hightower came up to Cairo Santos middle of the game. He's like, is that still your range? And Santos said yes. So they kind of stuck with that. That's why they elected to not go for the field goal, a 49-yard field goal, and end up punting. And what he said about his extra point, he said there was a glitch he used. The word was glitch in his extra points from the right hash. So he actually did something for the first time he's ever done in 8 years kicking. He actually changed and kicked from the middle for his extra point, and he decided to do that at halftime. He decided to go with this change, and he said for him it was about the change of scenery, put him in a field goal mindset, which locked him in. He said he has been missing those extra points in practice, so he really is just the visuals from the right hash is giving Cairo Santos fits. But after that, he felt good about his kicks afterwards. But he wanted to be in that field goal mindset. Santos can make his field goals. It's the extra points that he's kind of struggling with. So he made that adjustment. I asked him too, have you ever done that before in your career? And he said, no, this is the first time I made this adjustment. He feels confident with it moving forward. And speaking of his confidence, he still feels good about himself, the kicking. Doesn't think it's a technical thing. Just something about the right hash and the visuals. He's not seeing the ball correctly. And so that's why he made the adjustment. He feels good about it moving forward.
And Nick, on the offensive line, it was a tough day for them. They kind of struggled. Did you talk to any of the guys like Braxton Jones, Cody Whitehair, Leatherwood? Did they talk about anything about their performances or what the Eagles were doing well?
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to Riley Reef real quickly, and I asked him about, because earlier in the week, Corey, Sam Musford had talked about the Eagles running stunts and twists and, all about communication. I asked Riley Reef, how do you feel like you guys did? And first he said I have to go check the film, but it just wasn't good enough in terms of trying to get this win, obviously being a 25-20 loss to the Eagles. But he said that they obviously can do a lot better job. I did ask him, though, about just Justin Fields and what he was able to accomplish on the ground, specifically getting the 1,000-yard mark in terms of rushing, the third quarterback to ever do that. And Riley Reef said he's a very special person. Don't know if he's ever been around someone like him in his life, works his butt off, spends so much time in the building. But in terms of their specific plays, it comes down to what Matty Eberflus always talks about, execution. So that's going to be the difference in winning those close games. And obviously the Bears have been a lot of you guys, but didn't think that the offensive line right now, not having watched the film, did enough. And especially when, that Eagles front seven so deep can run these twists and stunts and everyone's able to execute them to perfection.
I think the mistake that stood out the most today was the Velus Jones fumble. Any thoughts from the head coach or anything in the locker room taken from that moment? Velus had a pretty tough year.
He has had a pretty tough year. I got a small glimpse of what he was saying. He's just said, especially on the fumble, that he's a physical runner. He's not going to change that. And obviously, it happened along this left sideline that I'm looking at right here. But yeah, that's all I got from Velus. But he has had a tough time, you guys, hanging on to the football. I know in the press box, every time he's even near the ball or even touching, even on kickoff, it's just hang on to the ball. Just hang on to the ball. Let's look to see another down. But that's all I can say about Velus and what he said there. Real quickly, you guys, I don't know if you guys saw, and this was just a little snippet, but Matthew Adams before the game, shirtless, out there in the freezing cold. I asked him why do you do that? What is the idea of going out there shirtless pregame? And he's like, it's just to get mental toughness. He's actually never really played in the cold before this year because he was in Indy. They played indoors, and he said he's never really played in it, but he goes out there without a shirt. And he's done this a couple times this year, just kind of preparing, because he said if he can prepare for the game like this, the battle of the elements, battle of the weather, then the game should be no problem. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Corey, actually, have you ever done something like that, gone out shirtless pregame when it was really, really cold?
No,
Here we go.
People do that. They try to act like they're super tough and all this stuff. It's just so the camera, Fox or whoever's covering you on there, gets a close up on it. Oh my gosh, this guy's so tough. And then all of a sudden when the game starts, he's got full sleeves. Get out of here with that,
Or someone like Nicholas Moriano is down there with his camera phone
in his vest.
Into the vest, takes a picture and puts it on social media. Hey, I want to get your reaction to this super chat here from Monty. He says, if Nick for some reason flunks out as a journalist, which of course is not going to happen, his mustache will give him quality work as an 80s role-playing, I'm assuming that's porn star.
Dirk Diggler, baby.
Congratulations.
Nick.
Who wants a mustache ride?
Yeah, baby. Hey, I
got a backup plan, guys. I got a backup plan, so I guess I'm set.
Hey, Nick, I don't want to do this to you, but I'm going to have to do this to you. Did you play Mario back in the day?
Of course I did.
Where is this going?
It's a good one.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Did you play?
Did
Were you a big fan of Mario back in the day?
Yeah, who wasn't a fan of Mario? Of course.
You're nervous?
Yeah.
We're all nervous.
I'm nervous.
No, when Teven got carted off, you put KART for the cart, and it made me think that you were a huge fan of Mario Kart.
Mario
it had
Kart.
to be.
He did. He spelled
That's
it with
right.
a K.
Yeah.
And I was like, my dude, who's on top of everything, who never makes a mistake in his life, he must have been a huge Mario Kart guy. That's my hypothesis. Am I right?
I love Mario Kart. I freaking love Mario Kart. And we got to get this set up in the studio, but it's funny that I used K instead of C.
You're
I think it was a Mario
Kart.
Kart for you, like, because you're a gaming guy. You've been doing those videos, so I thought my guy's doing the Mario Kart.
Great game, by the way.
Fantastic game.
There's a lot of love for Nick in the comments, man.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
they're loving him. They're loving him. They're like,
Who
when's the
doesn't love-
shirtless Nick win?
But hey,
Yeah. Next week, you could go out
Nick
there.
calendar shoot, CHGO.
You could go out there shirtless next week, Nick.
Braggs, and Nick.
Hell
right?
yeah.
Braggs
Sign
in
me
December
up.
with his Santa.
See, Nick, I'm not thinking porn
my
star.
Santa hat
I'm more
on?
like you could be like a solid player in White Lotus or something. You know, I think you
poor
might have a
Nick.
good acting career.
Acting, yeah. I can
That's a
see that.
compliment.
Yeah,
It's like
I
the
know.
biggest show that exists right now.
Appreciate it.
exactly.
All right, Nick, good stuff. You got anything else before we let you go?
No, but I actually have Will right next to me. I don't know if like maybe
Slide
I'm
him over.
on
This is a
screen
big
right
opportunity.
here.
You guys could do like the Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth slide in here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you do it
you want me to
properly.
slide in right here. All right,
There we
here
go.
He's got to do the Collinsworth slide.
There's like a 90% chance that mustache is gone by Tuesday when he's on the show. I feel bad. Will,
Hey,
what's
guys,
up,
how's it
my
going?
man?
Oh, another Sunday, another Bears loss. Same old stuff. How about you?
Yeah. No, yeah, pretty much same thing.
Trying to draw the positives.
Yeah, we're trying. All right, you Will, while Nick was killing it in the locker room, Will was in the press conference room hanging out with the Floose and Justin Fields. Let's start with Fields because it wasn't great having to see him run to the locker room, which turned out I think it was just cramps. But give us an idea what Justin Fields had to say about that whole ordeal and just I guess in general how he was feeling after the game because he did kind of take a beating today.
Yeah, I think in general he was feeling pretty typical in terms of how he's typically felt after some of these games. He didn't mention about being in pain or anything of that nature like we heard a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, the big thing that you mentioned were the cramps. He was trying to get stretched out on the sideline, was unable to kind of get it worked out there. So to hop into the locker room, take an IV, and now was able to alleviate the cramps, and then he was able to return to the game after that. When asked about like what's he learning from these, how can he avoid these in the future, Justin said, I just got to get an IV before every game. He typically does, but with the weather being as cold as it was here today, he thought he didn't need it, and that ended up not being the case as we saw he cramped towards the end of the game. So yeah, needing a mid-game IV for Mr. Fields here today, which all the running he had to do for his life makes a lot of sense.
Will, did he say something about not wanting to run as much in the future?
Yeah, he did. So they're talking about like the records that he broke here today, and if that's something throughout his career that he wants to kind of keep up his pace. And he kind of chuckled and said, "No, I'm good. I don't want to have to run this much. And I don't plan to run this much in the future." Mentioned this is kind of like a necessary evil right now, but as he goes on through his career, he would prefer to throw a little bit more and run a little bit less. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have his eyes on the prize for the NFL record for most rushing yards by a quarterback for a single season. He just needs like 70 some odd yards to go in each of these final games, and he'll break that record. I think it's around 200 yards left for him, but he says it'd be nice to have that record. And for Fields, who's usually, he's still very humble and talks about his teammates and doesn't care about the accolades. For to hear him say he's aware of how close he is and that he kind of wants that, it made me pretty happy and smile.
Hey, Will, question for you. So about Leatherwood, right? He had a tough day out there. It kind of seems like he's not a natural fit for right tackle. Do you think that the last couple of weeks we should check him out at guard and see what he could potentially do? And maybe if we find a diamond in the rough, kind of like what they did with Teven Jenkins moving him.
I don't see why not. That sounds like a really good idea here to me at this stage. Like you said, struggled here today. And unfortunately, we do have that open spot at right guard with Teven Jenkins and that neck injury. He did go to a hospital. The signs are encouraging. That was the only update that we were able to get from Coach Luce after the game. But we already know what we're getting from Schofield. I don't think he's returning next season, so why not put him there? Maybe it's even a rotation still, Joe Schofield with Leatherwood. That way, if something happened to where Leatherwood's still not it, you have a guy that can still jump in and can take over from there. But yeah, I like that idea. It's pretty interesting. And like I said, there's a spot open, which is so unfortunate for us with Tevin's injury, but that could end up being a pretty good experiment for the rest of the year.
Will, I don't really feel like they got too much done in the passing game offensively, but once again, we got to see the highlight reel that is Justin Fields, and he becomes the third quarterback ever to get 1,000 yards rushing in a season, joining Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick, two of the most, dynamic quarterbacks we've ever had. I believe he's 206 yards away from breaking, 207 yards away from breaking the all-time record with three games to go. As much as I'd love for him to have records, is there any concern for you, like it is for me, that he's going to chase this record here these last 3 weeks, or is he going to get it no problem next week?
Well, who knows? Maybe he will next week, Greg, but I don't think he's going to force it by any means. He's mentioned about that, like even when he was talking about his future, like even though I would prefer to pass more, I'm still going to be who I am. I'm going to improvise. I'm going to try to make plays happen and do whatever I can to put up the most points on the board. So I expect that same exact kind of attitude and approach to these final games from Justin, just doing what's best for him and his teammates. And if the record happens along the way, I think we're all going to be grateful for it to see him have that crowning achievement. And if you ask Justin after the fact, he'll just praise God for it and all of his teammates like he always does.
Hey, well, the defense played, I think, overall relatively okay today. But what did Flus have to say about what the hell happened on that touchdown run where I think any one of us could have run that ball in from that point? Because it looked like to me, and we were talking about it with Wootton in the moment, it looked like to me that the blitz went through the same gap as the nose tackle, the one technique. So, I mean, something was off there defensively because one of the gaps was wide open.
Yep, you hit the nail right on the head there, Adam Corey. That one was just due to the blitz going into the same gap as the defensive lineman, leaving the other one wide open. Call that a mental error with the assignment that they're going to have to make sure it's cleaned up in the future. But that was literally it, just a blown assignment in terms of which gap he was supposed to go blitz on that play. So, yeah, really good call, guys.
So, just to clarify, did he put that on Brisker?
Mm-hmm, he did. He put it on safety.
Okay. So Watts was supposed to cross the center's face, and Kelsey, and then Brisker
it almost
was
works like a stunt.
Yeah, it's like a stunt where they rub off each other. So it's Brisker's fault. Okay.
That makes it a lot. That makes more sense. And unfortunate because it just was too easy. Shouldn't have been that easy.
Yeah, shouldn't.
All right.
What was the nicest thing you had to say about the quarterback?
Man, the word special just kept coming out of his mouth today when he was asked about Justin Fields. But I think the nicest thing that I heard about Justin from Coach Flus was just the praise for his growth as a leader of this football team and becoming that guy here for the franchise. He said, and this is a rough quote, but that's perhaps the area that Justin has progressed in the most throughout this season is his leadership ability, just kind of taking this team under his wing.
All right. Any other final thoughts before we let you go?
I'm just happy seeing the effort that we saw. I know you said the defense played all right for the most part, but for them to kind of get the Eagles into the 3 turnovers here today, that's only their third game with multiple turnovers on offense. Jalen Hurts entering this game with only 3 interceptions on the season. The Bears had 2 here today. I thought that was just a good spirited effort by the defense. One of those moral victories, I guess I'll take with me on my drive home here. Although Coach Flus said, and I agree with him, one of my pet peeves is not scoring points off turnovers. It's a huge wasted opportunity. And that's exactly how he started his presser here this afternoon, this evening, just mentioning that this team needs to be better in those critical moments of games. If the defense gives offense short steals, they have to punch it in. There's no really excuse for them not to. So that's kind of where I'll leave it here today. That's pretty much where my mindset was as soon as that final whistle blew, and Coach was kind of backing up there.
All right. Will, we appreciate it. Good stuff, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a good rest of your
All
show.
right, Will. Take it easy, bro.
See you tomorrow night, Bears After Dark, right here. Hoge, I got breaking news for you.
Oh God.
Oh no.
No, well, it's this is a low.
I'm the one that breaks news around here.
That's true, you do. But this is a loaf on me. It was I think it was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, where I came to the studio and I somehow had emptied my backpack. It didn't have any pens, and I asked you for a pen, and you said I have a one red pen, but you got to get it back to me because my red pen is what I use when I do my grading. And somehow, some way, that red pen got lodged in this chair.
And you just found it?
And I just found it. So here you go. There's your red pen back. And
good, because we're going to need this a lot in the morning.
You needed that for the offensive line.
Yeah.
For sure.
This red pen is going to be very important. It's a crucial role. It's hilarious that it's been sitting in that chair.
I'm like, where the hell did that go? But I don't know what happened when Will was talking, but I just decided to reach down behind me, and there it was. And this one. I got two. So it was a,
pen. All right.
Might be a human being. You want a pen over there?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay, Brex.
We need to get out of here, so let's get to your notes there, Carmen.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, but it's already 5 o'clock.
Look at that chicken scratch.
Yeah, I honestly, my notes are a little truncated today, which is fitting because we're at 5 o'clock because I got upset when Sanborn got injured. But
you shut it down.
Yeah, I just shut it down.
You were awfully quiet after Sanborn got
it was just not. I was living in fear the whole day, so it's fine.
By the way, there is a little piece of news relevant to the Bears, but in that Cardinals-Broncos game we're following, Colt McCoy has been ruled out with a concussion. They're down to Trace McSorley at quarterback, which bodes well for the Broncos.
Yeah, but the Cardinals are up 9-3. Wake up, DNVR.
You got this, DNVR.
They're full.
One-score game. All right.
They're not playing.
Carm's notes goes like this. First was the unbelievable dysfunction at the beginning of the game. We had the penalty on the opening kickoff.
Yeah.
We had the false start on Braxton Jones. False start on Ryan Griffin.
3 flags on 3 plays, including the kickoff.
Bears were not exactly ready to go. I wrote down the laser to Equanimeous St. Brown, and then I wrote down he just got hurt. It was a good route. He got open. It was the money. Throw was right on the money,
First
and then
drive.
and then we lost.
Brown and Teven go.
Yeah, then we lost EQ. At that point, Velus Jones got the football and did not fumble it. Corey Wootton gave him an okay Velus. You were happy with Velus at that point.
I got unhappy later.
Yeah, and then when EQ got hurt, and then when Teven got hurt, all we did. Come on, Fox Sports. All we did was see Terry Bradshaw's money commercial thing on the screen for hours and hours and hours. We couldn't get a replay to save our lives of what was going on. I just did not think that
that was driving me crazy.
It was unfortunate that they could have done us better with Teven. Montgomery 3rd and 1. He gets a first down. Adam Hoge taunts Greg Braggs with he sucks.
Which was a sarcastic he sucks
because
Braggs thinks Montgomery sucks.
which came out on the show earlier today about a half hour ago. You took a shot at Montgomery.
He likes Herbert better.
Go to the tape. It's on there. 3rd and 2. Fields runs. Fields throws. Bears don't get it. That was awful. That was disappointing. The Bears getting turnovers. Kyler Gordon. When was the last time we had a solid turnover like that? It was worth celebrating. And then I wrote down where the hell is Leatherwood at, because he was not on the field, or he was, but he
never
wasn't.
came back.
So then there was the Sanborn play, which we talked about earlier, coming to the backfield, coming all the way across the field to chase down Hurts. And Woot, you've got this new term that I haven't heard.
What's that?
Yaga?
Yaga, yeah. When you have a nice hit, you got a nice play. Yaga, you know what I mean?
Yaga.
What is this from?
Yaga.
Explain this.
I just made it. Yaga. Yeah,
Just made it.
It came out a couple times. Yaga.
I love it.
Yeah, I liked it too. It was noteworthy.
Put some emphasis on that.
I spelled it Yagga.
Yeah.
Yaga. Okay. All right. Then they called DeAndre Houston Carson Carter.
Moose.
Guy's been in the league for a decade plus. Can we get some respect on DHC's name, please?
Hasn't quite been a decade, but we're getting there.
I think
8-9 years, right?
He's right at it, is he not?
No, he was drafted
15, right?
16, 15 or 16.
Also on the notes today is that Kevin Kaddick brought his dog in, and the animal has been outstanding and rooting for the Bears today.
Yeah, I believe
right. Well, that was what
didn't like Bragg.
I don't like him.
We had a pee situation.
I believe though, was that draft night the dog was here and pooped on the set?
Yeah.
Was that after they drafted Velus Jones?
Boo.
See, it's always the little dogs that they don't train well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm being serious. It was like after they drafted somebody, the dog pooped.
What's the dog's name?
So this dog
Maisie?
is like this dog is
I don't like
6 pounds,
Maisie.
10 pounds. I'm not sure.
I was
That dog
worried I
does
might
not
step
weigh
on it by
6
accident,
pounds.
like-
That
5
dog,
pounds?
That dog weighs
5 pounds.
5 pounds. 4 maybe.
The
We
bricks,
just got the 5.
bricks are heavier.
But
than-
so
Yeah.
that does remind me on a side note of being at WG and radio, and Steve Dale's the pet guy there, and he brought in the pet for the thing, and it took not what a 5-pound dog takes, just an enormous situation, right? And host Pete McMurray is like on the intercom. All right, we have a major situation in here, and we need every product that you could possibly bring. That was amazing. That was good radio. Woot's reaction on Justin Fields is on the notes, because there was high fives going all around as I sat there in utter terror that he had gotten hurt on the play, which of course he didn't. Cairo Santos, you're not good. 5 missed extra points after the missed extra. What's up, Cairo? We got to get better. You had some point brags at that point about Cairo on the grass. No, don't remember what it was. I wrote down Bragg's.
Near, like in golf.
Bragg's Cairo grass.
I didn't say
We
anything.
see
No,
where the wind's coming.
you had a problem with him tossing the grass in the air. You mocked him for that.
Yeah.
You have to see where the wind's
Which is
coming
how
from,
every
no?
kicker tests the
I
wind.
just whatever. Just he was being lame. Kick the ball.
just kick.
When it's
Hey.
windy, I don't check anything because I
Like,
just
I
lay
mean,
there.
seriously, in Chicago, you can take the grass, throw it in the air every day. It's gonna blow around.
Let's
You gotta see-
Chicago.
you got to see. You want them to make
Kick
kicks,
the
right?
ball.
He wants them to make.
Kick by
If the wind's
kick.
going this way, you have to aim right.
Yeah.
The wind's going the other way.
Let's see if you can. No, I'm going to give our guy over there a shot to. Let's see it.
What? What am I
No,
doing?
you're supposed to hit it like Sammy in his prime. Give it a shot. There you go. Good.
Oh
good,
my
good,
gosh.
Good work.
I
good.
thought a bricklayer stuff. He said, "What was that?"
No, it
Like
went
Mike
off
Pennell
my,
tipping
the
that
bottom
ball
of
today.
my hand.
The pedal tip is on the notes.
Them bricklayers ain't as tough as you think.
I wrote it down as the Pennell play. That's
It was the
on.
Pennell game.
Yeah, it was kind of the Pennell game. What % chance in the first half that they actually have scoring? I hated that. The Sanborn ankle. 8 questions. This is a nightmare, is what I wrote down at that point.
Too many injuries.
And then way too many injuries. I love that Justin Fields loved the missed field goal. When we got the doink, they showed Fields and he got up. It's like, so yeah, he was very excited that. So the mindset clearly, as always, winning the football game. And then Jalen Johnson hurt, ? You have got to be kidding me. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's how you do that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh man!
I lay bricks. Go to work. Come on, Bragg. That's how you swat that thing out of there.
Also, halftime shout out to Corey Wootton with the ping pong. The dude had some solid.
Yeah, that was a big
and
development.
Lawrence, who
Lawrence still beat him technically.
and me. I lost again, 21-19. I've lost 3.
Lawrence the GOAT.
I've lost 3 straight by 2 points now. It's hurting my heart.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll play you after this, and you can get a victory. I'll make you feel good.
There we go.
There you go. All right, let's get through these last super chats, then we will get out of here. But Monty says defense going to go crazy when we have Buckner and Anderson with Woot coming in for pass rush situations. Now he's already made it clear you can only play the run.
Yeah, that's it.
Touchdown, Denver!
I'll give you some. I'll give you some pass rush inside. 3 technique, but not on the edge. Not so fast anymore. I'm
He
too
hasn't even
old.
celebrated a Bears touchdown like that since like week 3.
Hit the like
Hey.
button for touchdown Denver. Let's go. Let's go
After he
Broncos.
swatted that thing.
I don't know. Somebody
don't know
put it in
about
the
Bragg's
chat,
no
but I'm
more,
not
man.
seeing it on Google. Here goes my break.
Did you just break another run?
Listen. I shared
No, they
my
did
buddy.
score. It's
I
10 to
shared
9.
my buddy Adam's tweet about the Cubs getting Dansby 3 days before it happened. Then it happened, so I have redeemed myself with the Montgomery thing.
All right. Who cares?
Just not with
He's
anything
wearing white
Bears
socks.
related.
He's wearing white socks with those shoes. Come on.
Oh my God! Enough.
going on?
Nobody cares about shoes and socks. We're worried about the number 2 pick in the draft.
Yeah,
Touchdown Broncos, 10-9. Let's go.
Like button for the Broncos. Knock it down. Let's go. Number 2 draft.
Let's keep it 10-9. Some of us have Cardinals +3. All right. We get another super chat here. I don't know what's going on. Robert Singleton says, can the fans start a petition against the refs? #tired of my quarterback getting hit.
The Justin Fields petition outside of Soldier Field on Christmas Eve versus the Buffalo Bills. We're tired of Justin Fields getting hit. Robert, we got you.
I feel him, man. I mean, he got hit 30 times today. It was
I'll
bad.
tell you what.
He was clean against the Packers today.
I will start a march down Michigan Avenue in protest of the refs over this, but with one condition. We need to get the temperature back over 60 degrees. Then I'm out there. Then I'm ready to go.
Soft.
But they're definitely going to review that Sue one. Because that was a missed
ridiculous.
opportunity.
You can't just club somebody in the head. Well,
He's
apparently
going to get fined for that.
You can if it's Justin Fields. All right, next one, way too rough. Okay. I need Justin Fields to break the QB rushing record, but if they sit him, I understand. How far away is he?
200. He's at exactly 1,000 yards apparently.
205.
And it's 1,206.
6, okay. 206 yards.
So
3
he's
games?
207 yards.
Very
With 3
doable.
games unless you sit him for the 3rd game.
Yeah. I will say chasing that record right now,
Pointless.
it's stupid.
But he gets 80 yards a game.
If it happens, it happens. But you just don't want to compromise his health and safety for a record in a meaningless season.
I agree. That would be
Dude took a beating today.
Yeah. All right. DD says Fields in the postgame sounds like he's interested in breaking the single season rushing record, but never wants to run for 1K again. Respect.
Yeah.
That's probably a good way of putting it. Like, yeah, this is all fun and games, but next year, if we could just throw for 300 yards a game, that'd be a little bit better.
Yep.
I mean,
Exactly.
$150 today. Last
him
week was $250.
Give
So
him some time to throw and some
Throw a
people
little
to
bit
throw
more,
to.
maybe 500 to 600 yards rushing.
get
Right?
get
A
Claypool
lot more
back out
passing.
there. Let's get
like
healthy,
that.
my friend.
Dylan says he's applying to grad schools in the area. If I get in, I'm a healthy scratch for our Super Bowl tailgates next year.
Ooh. Good luck. Hope you get into those schools. Hopefully you get into Northwestern.
Become
Cats.
Go Cats. Hoop team's playing well now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Football, not so much.
1-11.
Beat the ball.
Carm on the sideline though. 1-0.
Ooh.
1-0, baby.
Ireland.
Took it down in Ireland.
You didn't golf out there, though. I'm disappointed.
Didn't golf,
The mecca of golf.
but I had a good time.
That's good.
# Ireland. Let's go back.
All right.
Time to go.
Yeah, it is time to go. Follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at the Carm,
What?
at Corey Wootton, at G Braggs Jr. 23.
Lawrence, can I give my shout out to my guy?
Oh,
Real-
here we go.
Real quick, God dang it, I hate this camera angle.
Look at
But
him.
for you, Paul Zawicki, I will do it. Paul Zawicki, the road warrior, as you see here on the screen. Many of you may not know who he is. He sits next to Bearman, Don the Bearman, every single game. That's Don without the makeup on the left, and Paul to his right. They are best friends, and Paul is called the road warrior because he and Don, they go to every game, every home game. But Paul goes to every road and home game, and they've been doing this since the early 80s. And Paul reached his 400th straight
respect.
game, road and home. This dude is the road warrior. He is one of the biggest Bears fans I know. It's truly impressive just how passionate he is for this fan base. Everybody knows Don the Bearman, but few know Paul Zawicki, and he's got a heart of gold, and he deserves the shout out and the praise.
That's
So
got to be a
shout out
record.
to you,
That's
Paul.
got to be a record out there.
Seriously,
That's
the
ridiculous.
NFL
That
should
is.
recognize it. I mean, this is a
We're
guy
going to
that
every road
blue
game.
collar guy that goes to every single one of these games with his hard earned money.
Paul Zawicki.
So he's been to
Paul
all the London games
Zawicki.
too?
Road and home, 400 straight. The only year was the COVID year, which they should have let
that's
Paul
respect.
and Don in. Just every
They should
single
just
game.
let them in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say asterisk for the London game. That's respect to
He
be
went-
able to go.
You
to
went to
Every
London.
single. I went to the London game too.
Oh,
did
Okay, brick by
Me
brick.
and Adam got drunk at a bar one night.
whoa.
Well, I was drunk. I don't know if Adam
you
was.
were definitely drunk. I was respectful.
Shout out to
baby.
you, Paul. Love you, buddy.
Yeah.
I know him.
Is that your elf reference?
Flew to London.
Oh, yeah, elf reference.
Hey, seriously, that's cool stuff. That's a lot of money to invest in a
Football team.
and
The
so
franchise
Bears,
deserves to
please
give him some winning games.
reward
to go to.
him. Yeah,
Reward.
Get
Get him on the sideline. Let him meet some of the players in the locker room. This is the reason why Bears fans are great, right? And I've always said that the Bears fans, they travel well. Like it was like we were on the road at home games because that's how much they took over. We took over Dallas Stadium. We took over so many stadiums. So the Bears fans, you guys are the best. I don't think there's any fans that are like you. So shout out to the Braggs crew, brick by brick, going to every game.
Man for the fans.
Someone said on the
long.
pregame that we need a brick by brick shirt. I agree.
I agree.
We need a CHGO brick by brick.
Rise and shine in a brick
Sounds
by
great.
brick.
And then just
You can't hear Lawrence, but he said that's what the Bulls are working on.
Bricks by bricks.
Ooh.
Brick by brick. Different
shots
meaning
fired.
there in basketball. Yeah. All right, we're out of here. Again, follow us on Twitter. Make sure you hit that subscribe. The like button is there for you. All city gift memberships are available. If you are scrambling this week for that sports fan, that Chicago sports fan, you're like, man, I don't know what to get them. Get an all city gift membership. It's perfect. They'll have access to all of our awesome content. By the way, I should also mention Tuesday night. Should have mentioned this earlier. Tuesday night is our next CHGO Bears happy hour for our diehard. So it's diehard happy hour. If you are a CHGO member, we're all gonna kind of pop in there, I think, but it's really gonna be Will and Nick with a kind of a Chicago Audible theme in this one. They're gonna be there for you. 8:00. Happy hour. It's on Zoom. It's a lot of fun. You grab a beverage, hang out. We did one right before Thanksgiving. Corey was on with us. All of us were in there for at least a little bit. It was a lot of fun, and we'll be doing another one of those this Tuesday night. So we hope to see you there. We're out of here. We're back tomorrow, though. Got to break it all down.
Noon.
get up and go to work, Braggs.
Get that red pen ready.
Let's
Breaking
go,
it
baby.
down Monday, noon. Talk to you then.